first of all, happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much.
Did you enjoy your day more following Saturday's fight back at Chesterfield?
Yes, I certainly, you try and enjoy your birthday because it's for you and your family, isn't it, really? And so I would have had a smile on my face anyway, but I'd have really you mean it a little bit more, you smile when you've got a bit of a result from nowhere. And after 80 odd minutes, we was nowhere at 2-0 down. But so, yeah, after coming back with 2-2, there's a different feel about it then, isn't it? You've almost, you've picked up a point, you're unbeaten in 2 again, and obviously the point was against the top of the league team. So, yeah, it's better, thank you.
Following Lady Lolos's impact from the bench on our last away game, on Saturday Alex Adai was impressive when he came on, and Tom Lapsky obviously got the equaliser. It must show how important a role the substitutes are still playing. I
always say it, don't I? You know, the substitutes have got to be in the game while they're sitting there. And I thought all 3 of our subs, Holman, Alex and Tom Lapsley, they all played a major part in that last 20 minutes, you know, and credit to them, because subs can't be sitting there moping on the bench. They got to be ready to come on and show us that actually next time I want to be in the starting 11. But yeah, they all played a big part in us getting that game back.
Having scored late goals in our last 2 games, which has seen us pick up 4 points, has this boosted morale within the squad?
I think wins and non-losses, you know, when you're not losing and you pick up 4 points in 2 games, then obviously training's a little bit happier, the manager's a bit happier, the players are, and you know, we still concentrate on the training, but it is a better atmosphere, if you like, when you're on a decent run, albeit 2 games, 1 win, 1 draw. Because it sets us up now for the rest of the games, because unbeaten in 2, now you can start, 3 becomes a run, 4, 5, and that's what we've got to do. So yeah, as I said, the atmosphere around the place is good.
Looking ahead to Saturday now, of course there will be 2 familiar faces from Wealdstone, Josh Mera and Matt Buse. How are preparations going?
Preparations are always good, as in we always work very hard to train and put our tactics in place for the next team. Sometimes you get little knocks and you're not quite sure what team you're going to play, but we always train with our principles in mind. So even if we haven't got the full squad on any one day, which happens at every club, then we still work on our principles, and that's good for the new lads because it gets them more indoctrinated into our way of playing. So yeah, it's been a good week, and hopefully we can put out a team that can pick up another win at Playman.
Thank you.
Gary, they always used to refer to 30 time. Are you aware that people, particularly down here now, call it Gary time?
How can you not be aware? Like I want Gary time to be the first 5 minutes, not the last 5 minutes. So I've got to try and change that as soon as we can. But you know, if you've got it there, you've got it. It wasn't me that gave it that name. You know, it was other people. So it's good when it comes because it got us a win and it got us a draw. But yeah, I'd love Gary Tyne to be the first 5 minutes as opposed to the last.
Are you hinting there that you're not quite happy with how you're starting games then?
Not really. It was only because you mentioned Gary Tyne. I thought we started okay against Chesterfield, especially. And you know, we had our fair share of the ball. I don't think either side was particularly dictating too much. And obviously at Weight Ramon, I thought defensively we were quite sound. Just a 10-15 minutes in the second half where they got a run of attacks and got a little bit of luck with, you know, Shimanga scoring his 2 goals. But no, it's not that I'm not unhappy. It's just if Gary Tyne becomes the first 5 minutes, then obviously it makes you a lot happier throughout the game.
What are you expecting from Wealdstone this weekend?
Well, as you say, we know a couple of the lads, and we know they'll be up for it, as all lads that come back to play against you are always looking to impress. And they're just above us, aren't they, by 1 point in the league table. So I think Stuart Maynard, who I know very well, he was a player under me when I was in the academy director at Watford for a little while, and played with my son. So I know him quite well. He was a good footballer, and I'm sure that's the way Wealdstone want to play. I know that's the way they want to play, because obviously we've watched them over the last few days. So yeah, it's one where we, like everyone in this league, you've got to be at your best to get a good result.
You seem to rattle a few cages after the Solihull game. Do you think that rattling has had an effect in the recent pick-up in the results?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before again that yeah, I don't rattle a cage where I think I'm going to wind people up here.
It needed rattling, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and I needed to tell the truth and tell people, fans especially, how I'm feeling, because that was the same as how they were feeling, and I'm the same. And yes, I can do something about it. Not that minute, but I can do something about it. The players knew that, and I just said, if you want to stay in the team and be in the team, then you're going to have to do more. So in that way, it was motivation for them. But it's still true that we are looking to bring in players so that we've got a stronger, healthier squad.
But as you touched on a moment ago, it can't just be any old player, can it?
No, you can't. It can't be. And there are a lot of players available out there at the moment, and you've got to be sure what you're bringing into the dressing room, because of the dynamics. At the moment, the dynamics of our club, our dressing room and our players is very good. Everybody gets on with everybody, and you know that when one's disappointed, everyone's disappointed. We haven't got one that don't care. So that's important. So we've got to make sure the ones we bring in, the character that will suit us.
Brilliant. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Over the course of your career, I'm sure that you've obviously signed a lot of players and released a lot of players. When players leave and they start hitting it off at their next clubs, and we've obviously seen Josh get a few and Billy get a few. I think even Scott Bowden's got a couple, isn't he? Since he's gone. Is this are you past sort of worrying about that sort of thing? And during the course of a season, it probably levels out anyway.
All those lads you mentioned are great lads.
Yeah,
so you want them to do well.
Yeah.
You're happy when they're doing well.
Yeah.
If I wasn't, I'd be very miserable, because I've got a lot of players out there that can't, as you say, they're coming back to play against me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't want them to have a great game against us, of course.
No.
There is that extra motivation that they're trying to impress still two managers, their manager and me. So we'll have to see, but no, genuinely, I'm genuinely pleased for the nice guys when they find a home, and are playing well. And of course, Billy, I had him at Cheltenham and brought him here. Josh was the first time, so you never know what might happen in the future. Anyway, I'd like to think we've helped them in their pathway to getting back into the fray, because Billy didn't have a club, couldn't get a club before he came to us. It was Josh's first time in the National League, so we helped him prove himself at this level. So I like to think that Scott Bowden wasn't getting games; he needed games. So I like to think we've helped him along the way. So I certainly can sleep at night that we benefited them rather than not.
Yeah. And it's very easy for people to get suddenly wise. When I remember when the retained list came out, and you obviously those players were leaving. I don't remember a storm of protest from the fans saying,
"No, that's
why
right.
are you doing this? Why are you doing that?"
Some fans are going to say, "How comes our goals, our strikers are not scoring?" and the strikers you let go are scoring.
Yeah.
But that's life, and as you say, you have to wait and see what happens after 44 games.
Yeah.
I think, you know, so
No,
that's,
absolutely, yeah. You always say that 10 games in your head is you can start to think where the league is, where you are. In a funny sort of way, do you think it might take a bit longer this season to settle down this division? There seems to be some of the teams we all expected to be bang, 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 bang there right the way through aren't yet in top form.
Yeah,
you
I
see
think
Notts County lose at Altrincham in the week.
Yeah,
and
no,
things
that's
like
right.
that.
I
With
think
all due
it's
respect to
more-
Altrincham, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's more us, you know, rather than looking at the other
Right.
teams after 10 games.
Yeah.
You're looking at us, and you want to see our Torquay game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've got to see that, and I haven't seen it enough yet. I've seen it in bits in games,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it enough.
No.
And so that's really what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
The more players, new players that you bring in, the more time it takes
Yeah.
to get your game.
Yeah.
But I think at the moment, you know, we'll have to wait and see how the next 2 games go.
Yeah.
But it won't change our thoughts either way as to always trying to improve and move your squad on.
Yes, yeah. And do you find when you've got quite a lot of new players in, and I think we overestimated really. I think you brought in, you brought in what, 10 players? Getting on for?
Yeah, must be. Yeah.
Must be, yeah. Out on the training ground, do you find, and Aaron, do you find yourselves being drawn to them in terms of the work you give them? More than the lads that you really know and think, or is it all one group? Beg pardon, sort of.
It's all one group,
Yeah.
because it doesn't hurt to reiterate your principles
No.
with the ones that have been here longer. Anyway, you know, that's what we've got to do.
Yeah.
And also, it's about the new ones understanding the strengths and weaknesses of the old, you know, the older,
Yeah.
i.e. the ones that have been here longest, and vice versa. It's very important for the lads that have been here and had the success that they've had here,
Yeah.
and nearly great success.
Yeah.
One couple of decisions away.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've mentioned that for a few
No,
weeks.
no. Well done.
He still ain't contacted me yet, so if he's watching this, if you wouldn't mind, I'm still waiting, mate. So, yeah, I mean, it's a matter of them all gelling, and if you want them to gel, then they're going to have to train together
Yeah.
all the time. And some people need a little bit extra, so
Yeah.
we give them extras, as it were, you know, after the main session.
Yeah. You've already touched on the fact that you don't sign players that you don't like as
Yeah.
people.
That's right.
So it's not a question of, by the way, I really don't
We
enjoy
do-
talking to you anymore.
Well, we do a lot of homework on
Yeah,
the personalities
yeah.
of the team, and that's bringing managers that I know where the players played at, players that I know that have played with that player. So we do a lot of homework on
Yeah.
that. That's important to us, and it has been important over the years
Mm.
for me, because I want to come in
Yeah.
and know that I want everyone to do well.
And that, I'm sure, presumably, is part of the equation, that at the moment you haven't dived in and made a load of 3, 4, 5 loan signings at the moment. You've really been quite quiet on that front. At
Yeah,
the moment,
and we've
you know,
got to be, and we've got them, you know, in the background ready.
Yeah.
You know, the
those
5
places
loans we haven't
available,
used
yeah.
any
No,
yet.
No.
For when we need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
You know, and there is a need if somebody's suddenly injured and they're going to be out for any length of time.
Yeah.
Then we
Yeah.
need to have a look at that situation.